This will kill your career. October 1975. Queen sat broke, exhausted, and defiant. After 3 weeks of recording their ambitious new song, they had invested their last $50,000 in a musical gamble that broke every industry rule. The label told them to cut it. Freddie Mercury refused. That song, Bohemian Rhapsody, nearly ended their career before it saved it. This is the story of the song that almost killed Queen and then made them legends. Late 1960s, Ealing Art College, London. A young art student named Farrokh Bulsara, not yet known as Freddie Mercury, hunches over a piano in his dorm room. He's working on a strange composition he calls the Cowboy Song because of its opening line, "Mama just killed a man." This wasn't just another rock song. Mercury was combining 3 distinct musical pieces into something unprecedented: a ballad opening, an operatic middle section, and a hard rock finale. 3 genres that had never shared the same track. It was basically 3 songs that I wanted to put out, and I just put the 3 together, Mercury would later explain, simplifying what would become rock's most complex composition. The idea remained dormant for years as Queen struggled to break through. Their first 3 albums sold modestly, but by 1975, they faced significant financial strain with accumulated debt from recording costs and touring expenses. Queen knew their 4th album, A Night at the Opera, would be crucial to their future. Success meant stability. Failure meant potential career disaster. Mercury arrived at the studio in August 1975 with his secret weapon. He clutched pieces of paper torn from phone books, dinner napkins, and his father's work stationery, fragments containing the puzzle pieces of Bohemian Rhapsody. Brian May witnessed Mercury's vision coming together. He'd worked out the harmonies in his head. This whole incredible, complex piece was already formed in his mind. When we started working on it, you could tell this wasn't just another song. What Mercury had incubated for 7 years was about to challenge everything the music industry believed about commercial rock music. August 1975, Rockfield Studios, Wales. Far from London's watchful label executives, Queen begins recording the most ambitious rock song ever attempted. "We need 24 tracks for the opera section alone," Mercury tells engineer Roy Thomas Baker. Baker knows this is technically impossible with current technology, but Mercury won't take no for an answer. What followed broke all recording conventions. While hit songs typically took a day to record, Bohemian Rhapsody, a 5:55 epic with no chorus, blending ballad, opera, and rock, consumed 3 weeks across 5 different studios: Rockfield, Sarm East, Roundhouse, Scorpio Sound, and Wessex Sound. The band pioneered reduction mixing, recording 8 separate tape generations to create the song's massive sound. The operatic section required over 180 vocal overdubs. Mercury, May, and Taylor sang for 10 to 12 hours daily until their voices gave out. Taylor's falsetto on the iconic Galileo sections left him barely able to speak after sessions. For one particularly challenging high note, Mercury cleared the studio of everyone except Baker, a rare display of vulnerability from the normally confident frontman. May's guitar solo was recorded note by note, each segment obsessively perfected. His homemade red special guitar created orchestral textures never before heard in rock music. The financial risk was substantial. A Night at the Opera cost $50,000 in 1975, making it one of the era's most expensive rock albums. For a band already in debt, this was no small gamble. When EMI executives finally heard the completed track, their concern was evident. Industry standards called for 3-minute singles with clear choruses. This ambitious composition with multiple musical styles broke every rule in the playbook. The label pushed for edits. Freddie Mercury insisted the song be released unedited, refusing any cuts. It was unprecedented defiance from a band without a secure future. October 1975. Radio stations across Britain receive Queen's new single. The response is immediate. "We can't play this." Radio programmers were direct about the unconventional length and style. It was twice the acceptable time for airplay. Program directors couldn't categorize it. Was it rock, ballad, opera? How could they slot this unusual track between news breaks and commercials? BBC Radio 1, Britain's premier station, was highly skeptical. Even music critics were doubtful. Melody makers Alan Jones described it as a superficially impressive pastiche, while NME criticized it as being more about production than substance. Queen faced significant industry resistance. But instead of retreating, they devised an audacious marketing plan. They targeted Capital Radio's Kenny Everett, a rebellious DJ known for breaking rules. Queen gave him an exclusive preview with strict instructions. Don't play this on air. It's just between us. The reverse psychology worked perfectly. That weekend, Everett played snippets of Bohemian Rhapsody 14 times, repeatedly claiming his finger slipped on the broadcast button. "I've never heard anything like this," Everett told his listeners after one accidental play. "It's either the best thing you'll ever hear or the worst, but you need to hear it." By Monday morning, record stores across London were fielding calls about a song that hadn't even been released yet. Listeners were demanding a record they'd only heard in fragments. This grassroots demand forced EMI's hand. They released Bohemian Rhapsody on October 31st, 1975, exactly as Queen recorded it. But Queen had one more revolutionary move. Unable to perform the complex song on BBC's Top of the Pops, they created a promotional video, something virtually unheard of in 1975. Shot for $5,500, they filmed what would become one of the most influential music videos ever made. The 4-hour shoot pioneered visual techniques that would become standard when MTV launched 6 years later. "We just needed something to show on TV since we couldn't perform it live," May later explained. "We had no idea we were creating a whole new promotional format." November 29th, 1975. Bohemian Rhapsody hits number 1 on the UK charts, where it would remain for 9 consecutive weeks, a record for rock songs at that time. "We expected it to chart," Roger Taylor later admitted, "but when it hit number 1, we were genuinely shocked." The song's success was unprecedented. By early 1976, it had sold over 1 million copies in Britain alone. Record stores couldn't keep it in stock. Radio programmers who had rejected the song just weeks earlier now played it regularly. Even America's format-rigid stations eventually pushed it to number 9 on Billboard. The song's success encouraged radio play for other ambitious tracks, paving the way for songs like Pink Floyd's Shine On You Crazy Diamond, 1975, and Meatloaf's Bad Out of Hell, 1977, to find airtime despite their unconventional lengths and structures. What we witnessed was unprecedented, music historian Simon Price noted. A song breaking every commercial rule became one of the biggest commercial successes in history. The transformation for Queen was remarkable. A band facing financial pressure in summer 1975 was now experiencing rising fame. A Night at the Opera became a top-selling album in multiple countries. Bohemian Rhapsody fundamentally changed industry perceptions about what was commercially viable. Radio stations became more open to experimental compositions. Record labels showed more flexibility with artists' creative decisions. Most importantly, the balance of power shifted. Queen had demonstrated that artists could trust their instincts over industry formulas. They had bet everything on their vision and won. That song changed the relationship between artists and labels, producer Roy Thomas Baker observed. After Bohemian Rhapsody, when an artist said, "Trust me," labels had to listen. Fans didn't just buy the record, they became evangelists for it. They analyzed its mysteries, debated its meaning, celebrated its uniqueness. This passionate audience connection went beyond typical fandom. It was a shared appreciation for musical innovation. The song's financial impact transformed Queen's fortunes almost overnight. By early 1976, Bohemian Rhapsody had sold over 1 million copies in the UK alone, 10 times what was considered successful for a single at that time. A Night at the Opera amplified this success, selling approximately 6 million copies worldwide. Unlike many bands, Queen owned their publishing rights, giving them higher royalty rates than standard contracts. This savvy business decision, one they had to fight for against label pressure, would prove incredibly lucrative as the years passed. "They tried to bully us into standard contracts," Brian May later revealed. "Standing our ground on publishing rights was the second best decision we ever made, after refusing to cut Bohemian Rhapsody." The song's earning power proved remarkably durable. In 1991, following Mercury's death, Bohemian Rhapsody returned to number 1 for 5 weeks, selling 673,000 additional copies. In 1992, its placement in the film Wayne's World sent it to number 2 in America, introducing it to a new generation and generating millions more in revenue. Queen's touring value increased dramatically. Before Bohemian Rhapsody, they played smaller venues. After its success, they began headlining larger arenas for significantly higher fees. Their 1986 Wembley shows drew massive crowds, boosting earnings. This financial success completely altered their industry position. Before Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen needed label approval for creative decisions. After its success, they dictated terms from a position of strength, securing royalty rates nearly triple the industry standard. The 2018 Bohemian Rhapsody biopic fueled a streaming surge, pushing the song past 1.6 billion streams by December 2018, generating millions in revenue. Its legacy endures, with Mercury's piano and lyrics fetching over $3.8 million in 2023. Bohemian Rhapsody revolutionized music videos in 1975, establishing them as an art form rather than merely marketing tools. The techniques pioneered in those 4 hours at Elstree Studios directly influenced MTV, which launched 6 years later. Some songs are hits. Bohemian Rhapsody became something far more powerful. It became a cultural touchstone, explains music historian Paul Gambaccini. Its influence grew with each revival. In 1992, Wayne's World featured the song in an iconic car scene, introducing it to Generation X viewers and sending it back to number 2 on the charts, 17 years after its original release. This cultural resurgence demonstrated the song's unique ability to transcend eras and connect with new audiences. The 2018 biopic sparked yet another renaissance. By December of that year, it became the most streamed song from the 20th century. In July 2019, it became the first pre-90s music video to reach 1 billion YouTube views. What makes this digital dominance remarkable is its cross-generational appeal. While most classic rock remains popular primarily with original fans, Bohemian Rhapsody continuously attracts listeners born decades after its release. The song has received numerous honors throughout the years. In 2004, it entered the Grammy Hall of Fame. In 2022, the Library of Congress selected it for preservation in the National Recording Registry as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Rolling Stone placed it at number 17 on its 2021 list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Beyond these accolades, the song's mysterious lyrics have fueled decades of interpretation. Mercury deliberately avoided explaining them. People should just listen to it, think about it, and then make up their own minds, he stated in a 1977 interview. This ambiguity allowed listeners to find personal meaning, strengthening their emotional connection. The story of Bohemian Rhapsody demonstrates a revolutionary shift in the music industry. While executives saw obstacles, the length, complexity, and unconventional structure, audiences embraced precisely these elements. In defying conventional wisdom, Queen didn't just create a hit song, they rewrote the relationship between artists and the industry. Before Bohemian Rhapsody, creative decisions typically fell under label oversight. After its massive success, the balance shifted toward artistic vision. This legacy extends far beyond Queen. The commercial triumph of Bohemian Rhapsody opened doors for other ambitious works that might otherwise have been neutered by industry demands. It established that authentic artistic expression, even when defying convention, could connect powerfully with audiences. If we've proven anything, Brian May reflected on the song's 40th anniversary, it's that following your heart works better than following formulas. People recognize authenticity, and they reward it. As the music industry continues evolving, Bohemian Rhapsody remains a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest commercial success comes from refusing to follow commercial formulas. When Mercury insisted the song remain intact, he wasn't just protecting one composition, he was establishing a principle that would influence generations of artists. What's your favorite part? Ballad, opera, or rock? When did you first hear it? 1975, Wayne's World, or the biopic? Share your Queen memories in the comments. We'd love to know which legendary band's industry battle you want us to explore next.